Yeah, never went live. Did a whole hour with Max. Hit the broadcast thing, hit the timer. At the end of the timer, it kicked off. Never even went to YouTube. Don't know what happened. Not a clue. Probably something stupid I did. I'm sure. Not a clue. Probably something stupid I did. Turn the audio off. Pop out chat. I have no idea what happened. It's working now, right? What's up, Vince? You can actually see me, right? Everything's working. I have no idea what happened. What's up, Ann? I did a whole hour stream with Max. Interviewed him, talking about the OmniaDrop. Hey, look, here's the OmniaDrop, by the way, if anyone cares. Never went live. I hit the stupid live button, hit the stupid countdowner thingy that StreamYards has built in, never went out to YouTube. And because it never went out, I looked back at I went back to StreamYards, because a lot of times StreamYards, saves the stream. It never went live, so they never saved it. So the whole thing's gone. Ah, crap. Wouldn't you know? Happy New Year to you from Italy. How's it going, man? Just been one of those days. Went to use the dishwasher, the whole upper rack dropped, broke all the dishes. That started out my morning. It's just not been a good day. I think I'm just going to go back to bed. Had multiple oopsies already today. Multiples. Just sad. Just very, very sad. If anyone wants to jump in and hang out, there's a link. I'm probably not going to stay long because I've already been streaming for an hour. I streamed an hour with Max. Did a really good interview. We talked about the stupid OmniaDrop. Not stupid. It's awesome OmniaDrop, but I'm just kicked off now. Never went live. Never linked up. StreamYards was working. Everything was working on StreamYards. Nothing on YouTube went through. Not a clue why. Just sat there dead. No clue. No clue at all. So what are you guys all up to today? Anybody having a better day than me? Cool. So, what are y'all up to? Working also. You're working? Working as usual. You're working? Everyone's working. I'm actually talking to Max right now because we just did a whole hour interview stream. Oh, StreamYards. I don't think it was StreamYards. I think it was YouTube. The whole thing went kafutzes. Whoops. What's up, Sergio? Jump in here. Hang out. Yeah, I hit the go live thing. Said you're live. Hit the little, they got the 30-second countdown timer-y thing built into StreamYards now. Did that. Everything came up. Pushed our video up. Max joined in, streamed for an hour. Never went to YouTube. Or never came out of YouTube, I should say. But nothing seems to have been recorded. So I don't know if it was StreamYards, if it's something I did, if there was something. I mean, it is a new Mac. Maybe the Mac had something to do with it. I doubt it. I don't see an issue. It's working fine now. I have a feeling it was just one of them glitches that happens, and I just didn't know it. I didn't see the error. An error came up. I just didn't see it. It was on, a back window because I had the YouTube window in the front for the chat. So, yeah, dude, that whole hour stream is gone. I can't even pull it. It never got recorded or nothing.
Ah, that's unfortunate.
Dude, we sat there and chatted for an hour. I unboxed it. I'm thinking it's streaming. Everything's fine.
That happens. It happens. It's not an issue. It's not an issue.
No, I know, but, for one, here we are both thinking we're streaming. We're having, it was pretty good conversation. We went over everything.
Yeah.
It was good informative video. I went into StreamYards and it says error never got recorded. Because StreamYards records the streams.
But it seemed to work. It seemed to work. And
yeah, I mean it was just like it is now. Everything seemed normal.
Yeah.
And then I went to close it and there was a little window in the background, error did not start, or error, some kind of streaming error came out of StreamYards. So I have a feeling it just didn't connect, and that was that.
At least we get a second try then. Let's see it that way.
Well, I was, I was sort of watching the chat, and I kept singing, come on, let's go. And I'm like, whatever, maybe they're just bored with our discussion,
Yeah, I thought it was okay, I'm apparently boring. No.
Yeah, no, I was like, I guess we're being a little boring, but whatever. You came here to watch this.
Yeah.
Is what it is. They were all sitting there going, yeah, we're going to bed. Sorry, see ya.
Oh, damn.
Anyway.
Sorry to everyone. Sorry to anyone that came and waited for us and we never showed up. It wasn't on purpose.
We showed up. It just didn't show us.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I'm going to go with it was probably my fault and I didn't push some button right or something. I don't know. But you can't really screw up StreamYards. You're either broadcasting or not. I should have seen it because it says here end broadcast and it never came up and it always said join. But I know I clicked it because I clicked it and then did the countdown timer and it said, you're now live, but it never went live.
It happens.
Yeah, but
you got the OmniaDrop now.
Yeah.
One sold all your Chimeras for that.
Yeah, sold all my Chimeras for it. Every one of them.
You had two, right?
Yeah.
Where did you sell them? Did you sell them on Facebook or to people you knew?
No, I sold them because they were both gifts. One of them my brother gave me for Christmas last year, and the other one I actually won in a contest. So I didn't want to I literally, the person who bought them offered me more money. And I said, no, I only need X amount to replace it. You get them for this.
Oh, cool.
Because I didn't want to, I felt I wasn't selling them to make money because I was selling them so I could afford this. That's the only reason I got rid of them. What's up, Zolan?
So you llamaed it?
I guess.
It's okay. Remember that one stream I did where I was interviewing Billy Rubin, and I hit live. I saw the countdown. We went 20 minutes in with people going, "Hey, you're talking to us in chat, but we don't see you."
Yeah, that's basically what I did. Because there was people like Viking and Kathy O'Malley was like, well, I'm going to bed. We're leaving. See ya. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're boring. Sorry. No one said, hey, you are not live.
Yep, I've done it.
Although Dan did on Twitter. He said, come on, Llama, get live or something.
Yeah, I saw that, and I almost responded saying, I thought he was live.
Yeah, I thought I was too. Oh, well.
Hi, Max. I don't think I've ever talked to you before.
Hey, Zolon. No, we never talked to each other. I saw you in streams with Llama, but we never talked to each other personally, I think.
Yeah, Max is the owner / operator / whatever of Drop Effects / the OmniaDrop.
Oh,
yeah.
So he's the one. So he's the one I need to beg for a test unit because I want to try it out instead of my Hemera.
Exactly.
I have 3 Hemeras.
You have 3 Hemeras?
Yes.
Nice.
And I love them, but Llama's been talking about the OmniDrop. I don't know. I want to give it a shot.
Yeah, I always say if it works, don't change a winning team, But
no, I have. As I said, I've got 3 of them, which means I have 3 printers.
Yeah.
So only one of them I would be messing up.
I wouldn't call it messing up.
I know. No, Llama's been raving about them. So
it's just so much better.
And there is the option quite easily if you have already a system to install the Hemeras. There, I can print you the same version as from Llama, where it has like these 3 points.
Yeah, it's a direct bolt up to the Hemera modes.
Cable man.
The camera running. Damn it. Let's get that camera running. Copy the clipboard.
And Llama, at some point, expect Greg to pester you about the M1.
Greg who?
Maker Corner.
Oh, why?
Because he's thinking about upgrading his iMac.
Do it. As you guys well know, I've said it a million times, I was really hesitant about getting the M1 Mac. Kind of put it off. My brothers offered way back at Thanksgiving. I said, no, it's brand new. It's going to have issues. I've got all my stuff's antique, all my hardware. There he is now. Hey, Greg, we were talking about you. Everything I have bolted to it is antique. I mean, I still have FireWire crap, which do you actually want those drives? Thinking of that?
Yes, I do. I'm sorry.
Cases. You just let me know, I can't afford the shipping, especially now because my dishwasher blew apart this morning. So
I can't afford the shipping right now myself. So we'll figure that out later.
Yeah. If it comes down to it, I can hang on to them. I just want to get them the hell out of here because they're useless. But to me, but I expected to have a bunch of hardware / software errors, and I have gotten 2 so far. The software that drives this doesn't work well. It works. It doesn't work well. If I just use the Apple mouse controller and delete the driver for this, it works just fine. So no big deal. I just can't reprogram the buttons like I reprogram them that if I do a certain combination of pushes when I'm using like Fusion and ZBrush, it does certain things that I can't program anymore. It's not a big deal. You can still use the key combos on the keyboard. It was always easier for me to do it with the mouse where I'm left-handed. Plus, I got busted fingers.
Do you have a mounting plate for the OmniaDrop to the 3D fused rail system for the Ender 3?
Well, for the Ender 3, there is like a back plate, a face plate. You have to mount then onto the X carriage of the Ender 3, and then
right. But the the 3D fuse replaces the whole X carriage with a linear rail.
Ah, true. Yeah.
And it's
No, I don't.
it's an H-Win rail. That's my primary printer right now, which has a Hemera on it.
Yeah, but like if you have a mirror on it, you have like the 4 point mounting
Yep.
system. Not the four, yeah, exactly. So like the 3D Llama has the same thing. So you have those
Direct
three
bolt up to the Hemera
they're
system.
exactly the same location. So you just screw them in.
Nice.
And
Okay.
so it's a
Or you-
1-for-1 version.
Or if you know how to, or if you have a plate, how are they mounting the extruder to the actual?
So I customized a plate that I found online, so that way I didn't lose any of my build area. And then I had somebody else actually mill it out of aluminum.
Yeah, same thing I did with the Hemera one.
Yep.
So if you've got an aluminum Hemera plate, you can bolt it right up to that.
Oh, perfect.
It's built for the Hemera. He designed
Okay.
this for me because I have Barry's plates that he made for me. You know, not that you can see it, but that'll bolt right up to that little plate right there, direct. No adapters, no nothing. It screws right to it. Done.
Okay.
That's the cool thing about this. Within reason, I mean, I'm not going to say he's just going to customize them, but within reason, he can customize it. So you can make
customize them any way you want. It's like you just have to send me the files. I can't do all the designing for you because I don't have the printer. And it's always advisable if you design a new system, you can download the files. They're step files. Just change them to fit your printer. Print them once, the main body, and see that everything fits. And then send me the files, and I'll print that for you and assemble it, and then you can.
Yeah, I suck at using CAD, SolidWorks, or any of that. So, when you say you, I'm going to take that as the general you, not me, because.
Yeah. Well, the thing is like you've got that add-on, carriage. You can actually go back to the manufacturer. I know what the hell's the name of it. You just said
3D Fuse.
3D Fuse. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have all their CAD files open.
Yep.
So you can literally maybe get rid of the plate altogether and bolt it directly to the carriage.
The H-Win rail, the mounting block that the bearings are in, is too small to hit even 3 of the screws. It may hit 2.
Correct, but he can make this to hit as many as he wants. That's my point.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So that's actually part of the hot end now, not just a mounting plate.
No, that's part of the hot end. It screws right into the body of the hot end.
Okay.
Boom, done. There's no mounting plates. That's the whole point.
And it's a standard H-Win rail.
Yeah, like the NGN like 12H probably, right?
Actually, let me go to 3D Fuse's website.
Yeah.
Usually,
the only thing I can think of is how are you gonna?
The problem, it's like the problem is you have to bolt it from the front,
the back side.
And so that's the only issue with high-wind rails. It's like you can't. I thought about how could I change OmniaDrop to directly fit onto it, but the problem is you have to put the screws in from the front, and there's no real option without disassembling the complete extruder and making weird holes and it's.
Oh, whoa! They changed their rail kits. They don't look. Yeah, they don't look this. They don't look like mine anymore. Huh. Interesting.
3D Fuse. 3D Fuse, you said, right?
Yep. Here, I'll drop this in the.
What's up, Gary?
I think I'm a mod here. Am I a mod here? Okay. Yep, I'm a mod here.
Yeah. Pretty much everybody's a mod here.
Yeah, they redesigned the belt system. Nice. But it is still just an H-Win block. There is no difference there.
No.
They had to redesign it because the V2 printers are slightly different. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay, they moved the belt there, yeah.
Yep.
So I'm still I'm so mind boggled that we just spent an hour chit chatting going over this thing. And I can't even pull it. It never even recorded on StreamYard. That's what's really.
You llamaed it.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm wondering if when you click that go live, and actually I've had it happen with the end broadcast as well. I'm wondering if there's like an Ajax call or something that they're doing that just fails.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I got the countdown and everything, and it still wasn't live.
Yeah, no, I countdown, everything looked fine. You know, I hit go live, hit the countdown, added me to the stream. That's what I like about the countdown is you don't have to be on this, you know, you don't add yourself. Added myself to the stream. Didn't realize it said, you know, because normally it goes to, you know, start broadcast or go live, and then it goes to end broadcast. I never noticed the button never went to end broadcast. But then I closed all the windows when we were all done. We were both done going on our way. And there was a little itty bitty window in the corner that said, you know, stream never started, never connected to YouTube. Please try again. And I was like, what?
So the OmniaDrop is lighter than the Hemera, right?
Quite a bit. About half.
About half. So in that case, I don't want to put it on the rail system. I want to put it on my ender extender.
That's the size of the motor.
Because I've got a 400 millimeter wide X gantry.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's big.
With a single lead screw.
Okay.
So that would be the optimal place to put an OmniaDrop.
Yeah, quite a challenge though.
Yeah.
I don't know, like Llama says it weighs half of it. I'm not sure. Like I say, it's between, depending on the cable length you measure and weigh, between 350 to 380 grams, like in total.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's his name there? Your other fanboy. What the
Dave
hell?
Wilson.
Huh?
Dave Wilson.
Yes, he's actually measured them. And again, you can't go by the wiring, but we always cut the wires and put plugs. He does the same thing I do. So basically the same wiring, same plugging, same fans, same everything. It comes out to just short of half the weight.
Nice.
It's a little bit over.
And Boiler Ram is wondering how much torque does the motor have with and without the gearing?
So according to specs, the pancake stepper motor has, once they said 30 Newton centimeters, now they're saying 16. And then the gearing is a 5-to-1. So in theory, anywhere between 65 Newton centimeters and 80 Newton centimeters, depending on how they measured. But I did a video where I made this setup, how to measure how much force was actually transferred from the stepper motor onto the filament itself. And if you go into my YouTube channel, you can watch that. It's quite long, a bit technical. But it shows that as you obviously increase the current of the stepper motor, you have a linear correlation to the force being transferred onto the filament and then onto the nozzle. And when you put if you put the spring tension to full maximum, there is like this knurled nut on the OmniaDrop, and if you put it like nearly to full tension, it transfers up to, with a lot of current, transfers up to 10 kilograms onto the nozzle, which is quite a bit, like 100 newtons. But we don't need that much, so we usually use 600 milliampere to the stepper motor, and if you have like the knurled nut or the spring tension up to 3 millimeters, you transfer the maximum amount of torque at that current, and that's about 60 newtons, so 6 kilograms. If that helps.
It goes over my head, but you know, Buttram might understand.
I'm assuming you actually want the website, not the.
No, he said it was on his YouTube channel.
Yeah, on the YouTube channel, there's a video half an hour long. It's quite but I try to explain how.
Well, that's linked on your website, right?
Yeah, and then if you scroll on the homepage all the way to the bottom, there's a little button for my YouTube channel where you can go on to.
There it is. Got it.
Yeah, and there is like
channel drop effect. Got it.
Yeah.
And paste and subscribe.
Here.
Done.
Yeah, the only thing you should probably do, because I've actually had a couple people ask me too, is you need to like go on your YouTube channel and like the assembly ones, put a little note, you know how you can put the little tag in the corner, or put a note that says they no longer need to assemble it.
Yeah.
Because I've had a few people go, "Oh, yours came through all assembled. Why is everybody else's they got to build it, and it's like he's not making you assemble anymore.
Yeah, it's just because if I assemble it here, I can do the quality control already here,
Right.
and do the run-in procedures and stuff like that, and make sure that this whole setup works ideally, and I can early figure out like if there's something wrong or could happen to it, So it's for me, because if I send the kit and something breaks, it sucks. Okay, some parts you can reprint quite easily, but then you have a different color and then you have to reassemble it. It's a bit of a pain, and I just want customers to have an experience where they get the OmniaDrop and then they have anyways enough to do with cable management, software, the firmware bit maybe if you want to change that, but at least like the current to the stepper motor you need to change depending on the firmware or on the QIM pod on the stepper driver, and then do cable management, do the hot tightening and stuff, So you still got enough to do as it is then to assemble a whole extruder as well. So that's why I send it in a complete package.
Yeah, it for all the extra work you have to do initially, it probably saves you in the long run because you're doing less servicing /
Yeah. Yeah, and I know that
I'm sorry you didn't build it right. I will send you another gear.
And it happens, it's not their fault. If you first time assemble something, it's totally understandable. It happens to me as well that you do mistakes or interpret the instructions differently, and then you make a mistake, and then it's very difficult from like distance by emails or
figure out what went wrong, why it went wrong. It's just a pain in the butt.
Yeah. That's and as well, if you assemble it, you because the screws on the planetary gears have some Loctite on them, you need to dry them first. So you have to assemble partially and then let it dry and then finish up the rest. And you have to do this run-in procedure. So it takes days. Over days, you have to assemble an extruder just to get it working. And I think that's just a pain for someone who just wants to have the extruder and then hold it in their hands and the next moment start installing it on their printer. And then they have to do anyways enough. So yeah, so that's why mostly I started.
So actually, that sounds perfect for me because it's been a year and a half and the under extender still doesn't have its wiring done.
Okay, that is perfect because the wiring takes up so much time.
Oh God, go on. That sounds like you, man. You work for me.
I tested it, so I know it all works by using the short wires, but I haven't done the long wires yet. Okay. If we have to do maintenance on it, will it take days of downtime to get it back together?
Yeah.
No, that was a question.
What's that?
Okay. Well, sorry, can you repeat that?
Boiler RAM. If we have to do maintenance on it, will it take days of downtime to put it back together?
No.
There is. I have a video where there's a maintenance procedure, but like there is not. Basically, if you have any issues, obviously contact me, and I'll get that sorted. And especially in America, for America, even though the shipping cost is quite high with 21 euros, but it literally is there the next day, like the next day or two. So if you need replacement parts, they're very fast in America. Sometimes I send something in DHL for Germany and with FedEx to America, and FedEx is faster than DHL in Germany, and I sent from Germany.
Both times he sent these to me, I've had them in 2 days. From Germany.
So it's very fast.
I don't get it. It's like
they have some
the longest wait because you sent me the ship notice over the weekend.
Yeah. But
so it actually took more than 2 days because it was over the weekend. Both times it came over the weekend. But it sat for a full day in customs getting cleared. Otherwise, I would have had it a day earlier.
So he missed the part because when you were talking about having to assemble it with the Loctite and everything else, he missed what part of that assembly process takes days of drying time.
So if you go onto the website dropeffect.com and then go onto the assembly page, and there is a video, and in the first sections of the video you can see how the 4 planetary gears are being attached via lock nuts and screws, M3 screws, onto the planet disc. And since there is also at the beginning during the run-in procedure quite a bit of forces happening, they can get loose. The lock nuts are not firm enough gripping everything. So you need to add some Loctite to that, sorry. And then obviously Loctite needs to dry for 24 hours before you can actually use them.
Yep.
So it hardens. And so when you assemble the first steps of the OmniaDrop, I do that obviously now, but during the kit, when you had the kit, you need to assemble it and then leave it to dry 24 hours and then assemble the rest and then do the run-in procedures, because the planetary gears and everything, it has a zero tolerance mesh. That means everything is quite compact and there's a lot of friction happening. So you shouldn't run filament through it because there's a lot of internal stresses inside the planetary gear system. So you need to let it do a run-in procedure where the planetary gear turns like for 6 to 12 hours until you get really a smooth motion and everything is meshed together perfectly. And then the whole planetary gear set can actually transfer the whole torque. If there's internal friction, there is friction on the teeth, and then if you start extruding filament, which adds even more pressure onto the teeth, they can get damaged. So
and then you end up with a Chimera with the cracked gear.
Yeah.
Exactly. You would get broken gears. But if you do the run-in procedure and everything meshes together and there are no internal stresses anymore, then there are no issues. So you need to do the run-in procedure.
Makes sense.
Yeah. In theory, you shouldn't have to ever touch it, and that's why we were talking about he pre-assembles them now. You don't have to do all that. So really, the only thing I haven't done anything to it, to be honest with you. I have not done anything to that extruder since I got it.
Oh, okay. That's out of my price range.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not cheap. Dude, I had to sell both of my Chimeras to get it.
Yeah, and I'm not
And
to
I
the point of
still had
selling
to put out
Chimeras
the money
yet.
for the shipping because I didn't figure that in when I sold them.
I had a buyer for one of my Chimeras, but he backed out.
Yeah.
Because of the OmniaDrop, I'm planning on buying that. Is all on.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah, and that and the shipping was too slow.
Yeah.
No, from me. Greg
slow?
was going to buy my extra. I have a Chimera still in the box, not even ever put on anything.
I've got one sitting on my Ender 3 up in the storage rack, and I need to pull it off and sell it so I can. Then I'll be able to get it. Although I could just get it, but
The OmniaDrop, yeah.
Yeah, but I got to widen my. I've got a Hypercube, and I'm also using it for beta testing. And I won't say the company that I'm beta testing for, but I have to finish that beta testing first before I can upgrade. So it might be another month.
So again, from Boiler Ram. So in theory, we should not have to do that if we ever have to disassemble the hot end.
No. There's a maintenance, and if you have like a jam, there is a video on that also on the YouTube channel how to disassemble in case of a jam, which goes quite fast. Like I can already disassemble
once the gear package is assembled and and it's meshed, it should be really just like with how when I get a jam in the Chimera, it literally is just separating the two halves, clearing out the jam and putting it back together.
Yeah, but you don't even have to do that because there's no gearing that will ever jam.
Nice.
Yep.
The only time you're ever going to jam is like if you get a nozzle jam. Which,
right.
Yeah.
The nozzle on this thing.
With a nozzle
hang on. What was that, Max?
With a nozzle jam, I wouldn't actually disassemble it. I would first do the cold pull procedure, which I also have a video to. You can automatically do a cold pull procedure, well, semi-automatically. So you have to do the start and then heat the hot end up, load in some nylon filament, screw it, and then have a G-code that cools it down, the hot end, while you still screwing the manual wheel until you can't turn it anymore, and then it will pull for you out the whole filament and do the cold pull for you. Yeah. That's what I do when I change manual
feed.
What metal are you using for your heat break?
It's stainless steel.
Okay.
It's stainless steel. Currently.
And I like that heater. That's nice.
Yeah, the whole thing is just, I love the round heater, dude. There's two things I love about it. One, it's the easiest thing in the world to change the nozzle. I've changed the nozzle like 3 times. I mean, sure, I could probably get a slice, mosquito that's a little bit easier, but it's got a little place for the wrench, a flat spot. You just slide it on there, poof, off comes the nozzle. No fighting the block, trying to clamp it, not break the wires like you do with
I don't have any of those issues.
Standard block one.
Which design is?
I use a Ziltech nozzle thing.
The best benefit of it is it's consistent, uniform heating around the entire heat zone.
Right.
But to be honest, it doesn't make a huge amount of turns. Like you can push a bit more filament through it, especially with the new 24-volt version, which has the copper.
And it heats up faster, right?
Yeah, the new 24-volt version I can't use.
Oh, I'll take that one.
I'll take it. So
yeah, you can rattle the weapon.
If we harm the so the thermistor is a cartridge that we can change out easily. If we accidentally harm the actual heater, though, that the not the ring heater itself, but the actual what heats it, do we have to replace that whole end?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, if you damage the cable of the heater cartridge, then yes. If you break the heat brake, replace the heat brake.
Okay, so if that gets harmed at all, you have to replace the whole ring heater with the. Okay.
Is that your own design or? Yeah.
What was that, Greg?
I was just asking, is that your own design? Because I've seen similar ones, but I'm just curious where that design comes from.
So that design came from basically me. I would share it 50-50. The story goes that when I started designing the OmniaDrop, I was obviously thinking about what kind of heater cartridge or the heater block I wanted to use. In my head, it was also for years, it was a round heater. But I didn't know back then that MaxiWatt did ring heaters as well. And I found because you can buy on Amazon also a ring heater, which is a bit bigger. I think it has 19 millimeters in diameter. The ring heater from me is 18 millimeters, but it has like this indentation in the
wrench.
For that wrench. Yeah. Also because which I don't like about the MaxiWatt heaters is that the heater cartridge goes all the way up. That means it starts heating as well the heat break part. And personally, I know that companies do now use like bimetallic heat breaks to actually achieve a longer heating zone path. For me, it's always the most important part is to get as much less temperature or heat into the heat break as possible. So I don't want the heater cartridge be on the same level as part of the heat break threads. So only on the threads of the nozzle. And that's why I also use this indentation. And I found a company that were doing these, but at a very high cost price. And back when I first started selling them, I had to sell them for like 38 euros just to get some margin out of it. And there wasn't a big margin. They were quite expensive. So the 12-volt version, which Llama has, is still these ones. And the newer ones are cheaper to make because I use round ceramic heaters and also copper nickel plated because I added some value to that.
I don't know how to pronounce the word. Synchronicity, I think that's the word, how you pronounce it. Synchronicity invention, aka the coincidental occurrence of events and especially other events, inventions that two people have come up with the same design independently of each other. Yeah. It happens all the time.
We'll put it this way. I have a feeling the industry is heading in that direction.
So the other thing I really like about this, the sock stays on the frickin' heater.
That's really nice.
On there nice and solid. It never comes off. You have a hard time getting it off, if anything.
We need to make sure Llama always wraps his hot end.
I absolutely hate E3D.
Is it double wrapped?
Socks. They never stay put. They always droop on the frickin' backside.
Yeah, I have to put a wire to hold mine on the standard E3D heat block.
What are you guys doing to have this? I even print at 280 degrees and don't have that issue.
They just get droopy over time. They
just kind of the clips aren't strong enough on it, so it just kind of unclips and the one side's sagging over time.
And I did just mention those temps, and boiler ram is valid. How does it handle nylon and polycarbonate temperatures?
Very well. It depends on the environment you're printing at. So if you have the OmniaDrop in an enclosed chamber, it will decrease the lifespan. I have one now in an enclosed chamber for a year now, but it still works fine, flawlessly. But you do notice some kind of sag in it, but nothing major. So
I think he was actually asking about the ring heater.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, the
Ring-
heat.
like the new cooling fans. I sent out our printed in polycarbonate using the OmniaDrop. And
What is the
Nice.
thermistor? Can
Something.
the thermistor it comes with, can it go up to that 300C?
Yeah, it's rated for like 300C.
It's
there
basically
any-
the same thing as the E3D one.
Yeah, it's the same
Yep.
thing. It has the same kind. It's just a shorter heater cartridge, basically the same.
Is there any thoughts of getting a high temp motor?
There is the idea of creating a high temperature version of the OmniaDrop, but that will take some time.
Okay.
Mhm.
That will take some time. So
maybe I'll wait for that because that's one of my goals is to be able to print polycarb and hotter.
well, yeah, but you can like an enclosed chamber. You want to have like a heated chamber properly,
Yep.
or
Yep.
how high you want to go with the heated chamber? What temperature?
I actually don't know because it'll all be new to me.
Oh, okay. But the aim is to get not go above 60 degrees Celsius because then you start getting completely new issues. So the aim
Okay.
is 60 usually.
Yeah, 'cause I
And
do
that could be
know
enough.
one thing I was looking at, which will actually require me to relocate
Hey, Carl.
most of my steppers or water cool my steppers. The chamber needs to be at about 110 C.
Mm.
Yeah.
Then,
Now
then,
you're talking a custom hot end, you know.
then you need that's a whole new setup.
It's like an
Mhm.
oven.
See, that's a completely different setup where you have to achieve like from standard printers, I would say.
But I like to experiment. That's the thing. It's
It's
my printers don't run as often as like Llama's does because I'm always working on something new, and then I come across and go, oh, I need to print this. Oh, none of my printers can do that because the temperatures I need I can't do.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
printers don't run as much as they should because I have the classic saying of once I get it running perfectly, it's time to fix it.
And actually, Boiler Ram, Buttram,
why
I'm going to be reaching out probably to Vision Miner and asking how they do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
That's why
have,
you need at least 3 printers.
they have in-house made hot ends and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They make their own.
for like if you want to get away cheaper, I think even the Chimeras are not a bad option for high temperature environments like 50 degrees.
I've actually overheated mine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
motors
I
are
was
not-
printing at 175 millimeters a second with the standard Chimera heat block, just PLA, but I had to crank it to 260 C to keep it fed without it jamming.
Yeah, but that's normal. That's
Right.
normal. What layer heights if you print that?
And the stepper on the Chimera started skipping steps at that temp because the heat from the hot end and the ambient air around it was too much.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's funny because I've checked. This thing gets warm during operation, especially if you kick the speed up. It doesn't get screaming hot. I had the Chimera, like you could barely touch the motor. It was freaking hot, and this
Yep.
actually is running cooler, which makes absolutely no sense.
My Chimeras run cool until I start breaking the 110 threshold. Once I get above 110 millimeters a second, it starts getting hot.
I
was
couldn't
running
even get it to go that high because it wouldn't melt the plastic fast enough. I was using a 0.8 nozzle.
Well, I'm using and I'm still on the 0.4, and I'm using a 50-watt cart,
Yeah. See, I was just using the stock
24 volt 50-watt cart.
and anything over like 60, 70 millimeters a second, it would jam, and not because
Wow.
of the motor. It wouldn't melt the plastic fast enough.
See,
Yeah,
I'm
but
not having that issue.
But that's normal. That depends on your hot end temperature. So it's as you go faster, obviously you have to always think how much volume do you push through that nozzle and how much time do you give the filament to heat up. And since plastic is a very poor conductor of heat,
Yep.
you need to give it enough time. And if you obviously push it too fast, then you have to start overheating it so there is enough energy that pushes into the filament. And I like before, like I personally think it's not as much as important. Like I always see like 50 watts, 60 watts. I want to have high heater cartridges, but these short hot ends, like the normal blocks, it doesn't make sense. You need more wattage if you have more material, like a volcano or like a super volcano, where it's a lot of material, like aluminum, you have to heat up, and then you need real wattage. But like for the small cartridges, for the small heater blocks, it doesn't need more than 30 to 35 watts, and that's.
So, and actually that brings up another point. Are you planning on making a larger heater block in the future for doing such a thing?
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing the volcano.
Volcano style. So it'll be like
Nice.
this deep, but still the same round. But
Yeah,
just
same,
deeper.
same. Basically, it's just being extended another
Yeah.
8 millimeters as the volcano, so you can use volcano nozzles. But that's in the working. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that would be.
That's a little insane, Greg. Mine is at 900. I've never
Yeah,
needed to go above 900.
I was getting skip steps and issues until I put it
Make
up to
sure your
1100.
gears are meshing properly, because I have heard people having issues and having to crank their VREF. And it's because they had one of the first run of gears on the Chimeras in those first runs bind.
Yeah, I've already checked on
Yeah,
mine.
they're off kilter.
Yeah.
Yep.
I saw a bunch of those. That's the first thing I checked when I got mine, because just as I was getting mine, that was going around. They were breaking gears and they were off kilter. Luckily, both of mine were fine.
I had to do that on both of mine. I think it was 1000 or 1100.
My first Chimera,
9.
I had to crank my VREF to about 900, and I knew that was wrong, or not a grand. So I took it apart and I found the gear, not the gear that's on the spindle, but the gears that are on the other side were slightly tilted. And when I realigned that and meshed and made sure they meshed properly, I was able to drop my VREF.
Yeah. I didn't have any problems with that. I ran at about 900 and never had a problem.
Yeah.
Smooth ran. Did run a little hot though when I started kicking up the speeds, but
yes,
there was other issues, on the
which is why I'm happy to hear from Max that the fact that you do your full assembly and testing before you even ship it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
And that's awesome.
Yep, it is awesome. It's so awesome. I bought a second one.
Nice.
Wait, Llama bought? You actually bought it, Llama? That's awesome. Yeah. That is a big deal.
Yeah. I sold my Chimeras to get it, and I liked my Chimeras a lot, and I like it better. No question about it.
170 US, not including shipping.
It's not even day-to-day printing I like better about it. They both print fine. It's the general use contact with it.
Right.
Just the little things like the freaking sock actually staying on is a big deal to me.
Well, and you said the ghosting is a lot less, right? I know you had an issue with that.
It's lighter.
It's lighter.
Faster. I ran the Chimera at 45 on the Core XY, which is ridiculously slow.
That is slow.
It's so heavy. I could go faster, 70, 80 millimeters a second before I would start jamming.
I go 60, but I don't notice ghosting on most prints.
Yeah, I don't have any ghosting.
Pushing it at 60, I'd get some ghosting. But I'm running this at 65, 70 without an issue. Pretty much all the same. All my jerk settings and everything are exactly the same.
So does anybody out there want to buy a Chimera so I can buy one of these?
I got one for sale too. Maybe 2.
And again, I don't dislike my Chimeras. I wish I could have kept.
Oh no, I love my Chimeras. But you got to keep in mind my experience in hot ends, which is also why I'm trying to find other companies who want me to test. My experience in hot ends is only the MK10 or 8 or whatever it is that ships on the Ender 3, and a Chimera, and a Chimera. That's it.
Chimera, yeah.
Those are my only experiences.
I got the Chimera because of TPU, because as you can see all the drones in my workbench there, I do a lot of TPU printing for those parts. And before I had a Bondtech and it was great, but 10 millimeters per second max. So with Chimera, I can go 40 to 45, even with Ninja Flex, but I can never get those speeds with Bondtech because it's, especially Bowden style, but even direct style.
I need to look. No, when the pandemic's over, I need to come by and look at your setup, because I'm printing 95A TPU at 60 with my Chimeras with no issue.
Well, you can do that, but the surface quality of the print will be poor, because Ninja Flex, if you're printing that, cannot go above. It can't cool fast enough.
Yeah, the 95A is what I was talking about.
Oh yeah, you can. I mean, I could even print that stuff at 60 on my Bowden setup. So that stuff's easy, yeah. It's the real true Ninja
Fairly
Flex.
hard. It's not a whole lot different. Than,
Ninja Flex, I print at about 40 to 50 with no ghosting, and my surface
Yep.
looks great.
And that's about as fast as you want to go with Ninja Flex.
Yeah.
Because these things
It
here.
doesn't make sense to go faster than that.
Yep.
You get
I'm sorry,
stringing
what was
as
that,
well.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
you get stringing when you like with the Ninja Flex if you go faster than like 40 or 50 millimeters, just because like if you have small features and stuff, and then like first like a big plate, so you need to pump a lot of material continuously, and then you build small pillows on that, let's say, then the volume you extrude per time decreases, but your temperature stays the same, so then the filament gets hotter. So if you stay at 40, you get this nice equilibrium where
and that's where I go, 40. Yep.
These are flexible PLA. It's not TPU. It is a little stiffer than your basic TPU. But that's printed at like 60, 65. That's literally, I just hit print from my PLA settings. I don't even make a setting for this stuff different than PLA. I just use my everyday PLA setting. And that's flexible PLA. No stringing, no issues, no ghosting, no nothing. The only thing I can say at that speed it does have like I don't know if you can see it in the camera. It has the kind of rounded corner from the higher speed. You know, it's got the little extra line bubble on the sharp corners, but that's about it.
So the nozzle itself, is that what type of nozzle is that? As in, is it an MK8 standard or?
Yeah, E3D compatible, right?
E3D.
So,
Original E3D.
So all my E3D nozzles that I have from my Chimeras will work with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's good because I have a bunch of Nozzle X nozzles.
Yeah. I didn't want to change the nozzle system, to be honest.
Yeah. That's all you need is a Nozzle X or a vanadium nozzle in your set. That's what I got on all mine.
Yeah, I've actually been using I actually like the Micro Swiss a little bit better. They're usually a little bit cheaper. Believe it or not, if you're not running like carbon fiber or anything, I actually like the plated Micro Swiss ones better. I think they heat better. They generate their power.
There is somebody out there. There is somebody out there working on an E3D style nozzle out of tungsten.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And
it's gonna be like
want
$80
that bad. I would love one. But there's cheap ones on the market right now that are actually tungsten. They're not actually tungsten. They're coated with something. And they're calling it tungsten, but it's not.
Yeah.
I think Warkaki was
having that discussion with Warkaki.
Yeah. Yep.
There's even the steel plated ones, we don't need them unless you're running.
I'm going to be running carbon fiber.
If you're running carbon fiber, you at least want a steel one.
Yeah.
But you don't do tungsten and all those. Yeah, it's going to be $50 or $100. You can buy
$50 or $100, and I don't have to change. $50 or $100. I don't have to change my nozzles out, and I can print Nylon X with carbon fiber.
Yeah. Most people don't need it.
You're right. Most people don't. You are completely right. Also, tungsten has better heat capability.
That it does have over tool steel, but even that is minimal difference.
I know. And for me, for a home consumer person, it's not going to make that big of a difference.
No.
The biggest one will be, unless I jam, I should never have to touch my hot end.
Yeah.
And that's my goal. With my back, trying to work on the printer, I almost have to take the hot end off to do anything with it. And I don't want to have to do that anymore.
Yeah, that's what I like about this. I've changed the nozzles a couple, 3 times because I had the 0.8 and then the 0.4 and then back to the 0.6, playing with it. And just being able to like grab this thing without worrying about wires and anything just makes my day so much. And
my 2022-2023 project is going to be a 5-head, technically a tool changer, but they're all going to be the same thing.
There's just so many little things. There's no one big thing that makes this like better than like a Chimera or any of the other ones. So many little conveniences that just all in all make the enjoyment of using it way better than Chimera. Yeah, I love the mosquitoes too, but the mosquito, just the hot end costs more than this thing. And then you got an extruder, and then you end up with a really long, extrusion path or filament path, where this thing will do almost anything a mosquito will. I'm not going to say it will because the mosquito can go
has also a convenience factor. Yeah,
Hey,
the
Max.
convenience factor of the mosquito is very high. The change the knowledge
Yeah.
that way is great, and the system is great, and the cooling system is very smart. So I quite like the engineering on the slice engineering mosquito.
Yeah, no, the slice is great, but again, the average everyday person is never ever going to use its capabilities.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Max,
yeah,
is
but
there a
it's nice
plan?
to have a shiny thing on your printer, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
It
then
is
you
shiny.
cover it. You don't even really see it because you end up putting fans and dust and all kinds of crap around it. You never even see it.
Well, and see,
Is
for
there-
me, it's simply because I eventually want to be able to have a printer that can swap out the hot end rather, so that way I don't have to do filament changes. And then I can do TPU with the water soluble supports and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Like a real tool changer. That's nice.
Yes.
Is
there a plan
And
to sell
and
that?
the fact that the OmniaDrop is almost half the weight of the Hemera is kind of changing my plans, because I was originally
Yeah.
looking at doing it with Hemeras, which is why I have 3 of them.
Yeah, I
Well, you can use the files, download the files, and see everything if everything fits and stuff. You know.
Mm-hmm.
if you're running right now,
Design.
if you're building or getting ready to build or rebuilding a Core XY, I would definitely go with the OmniDrop if you can afford it over the Hemera.
Yep.
Simply because of weight.
Let's go,
And
Steve. Let's
and if
wait.
you can get an Hemera at the current state, because it's as far as
Oh, no,
you
you
know,
can get a Hemera. You can buy a Hemera right now.
Yeah.
You just can't buy any parts to repair it, which most
Actually,
of them, the first thing you got to do is change the gears out.
well, and you don't need to change the gears out anymore unless you get a first gen.
Yeah.
Because I have 3. My first one had some slight gearing issues I was able to fix on my own. My other one that I have currently installed never had an issue with. The third one I don't know. I haven't even put it on anything yet.
I have 2 first gens and never had an issue with it other than the issues of just the basic design of it that annoyed me.
So Greg is typing in chat.
I can't get a word in.
Because we keep overrunning him. He's wondering if you're going to have a U.S. distributor in the future.
I would like to have a US distributor in the future, but I just couldn't find the right ones, and we couldn't like I had like with TH3D I talked, but we got close, but then couldn't seal a deal, and so yeah. This currently there is no interest in from any resellers to resell.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Alien. Josh might want to do it.
Yeah,
I bet he would.
would try Josh or Dave at Printed Solid.
Yeah, Printed
Josh
Solid
Daly,
would be bigger.
3D, Dave at Printed Solid. One of those two, I can almost guarantee you would redistribute for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would be great to have that, and then have to talk to them somehow to also make custom versions possible and stuff like that.
Yeah,
because that's very key. I think very key. What I want to have from a distributor is who's also open to get to also customize the OmniaDrop for people, not themselves, not to do the design, but when they get the files that they print specifically that one, and not have them just sit in a stock somewhere and then get the order and just pack it and send it off and saying, okay, 24-volt standard, and that's it, and it's gone.
You basically want to use a U.S. distributor as a print house. You want them to print
Yeah,
whatever
yeah, like as a print house, and
ship it out, and they get paid a small chunk, which is sounds like what Printed Solid would do. I mean, I could see Printed Solid doing that.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Sergio?
So, guys,
Mr. Purple Man.
Oh, I am working.
Oh, look.
Hey, look, a printer that should have an OmniaDrop.
Yeah, look.
Is it a bear? A purple bear?
Yeah, it's a purple bear.
It could be made purple to match your purple printer.
I'm doing the
Poor Max is going to have to go out and get more purple filament. Because what you guys don't realize is he actually got a sample of this to do this for me because we were joking around about it. And he's like, yeah, I can get it. And he just ordered some sample purple so I can have a purple one. Now he's going to have to go out and buy rolls of it because everyone's going to want purple.
Yeah, I'm working on putting this bond tech
Hey,
together.
what's up, Dave? We were just talking about you earlier, too.
Is that a bear extruder or a bear printer?
Yes.
Yeah. A bear. Yep.
That he's been working on for over a week now.
And it's got the green.
Hey, hold on. So
I have no room to talk. I know it. As I said, I still have not done my wiring looms for my ender extender, and it's been a year and a half.
So listen to this. So these are the pieces that I printed for the Z motors, right?
Uh-huh.
So when I put them in, this one lined up perfectly. this one was off. The
Oh.
lead screw was forward about 2 millimeters. And I'm like,
have you done a skewing print test yet to make sure that you don't need to make adjustments? Because I have
Well-
had an issue with some things being off by 1 millimeter to 2 millimeter in only one axis.
well, here's what
Yeah, but then you get elongated holes.
I printed both sides at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I'm looking at this, and the outside is perfectly square. Okay.
Right.
But when I go to the inside, it's slightly off.
So you do have a skew. You have a slight skew. Wow. How do you have a skewing issue, but only on the inner walls?
That's what's odd. So I
Huh.
printed this, on the other printer. I printed the carbon fiber, and these are perfect. No
Well,
problem.
that tells you it's printer related.
They lined up. Well, it's a different printer.
Hey, that's what I mean.
The Blue Bear is the one that seems to be slightly off. The Red Bear is fine.
Okay, on Thingiverse, there is a skewing test, STL set, and he also has the instructions of how to adjust your Marlin firmware, if that's what you're running,
Yep.
to compensate for the skewing.
Gotcha. But I'm going back because the Red Bear actually has these on it that I printed.
Okay.
So I'm going to make sure
That
well,
those
it
are
wasn't
straight.
The Red Bear with the problem. It was the Blue Bear. So the Blue Bear is the one. I'm sorry, the Blue Bear is the one that has these. So I'm going to go back and check everything as far as square, because when I was putting it together, I checked everything for square except this way, the Z motor between the back of that. I
Right.
did not check. So that's
Well,
what I'm going to
and-
check next.
So, Sergio,
Yeah.
one way you can check to see if that's actually the issue, besides just pulling your calipers out and measuring the Z screw, is your variance on the inner walls the same on the top versus the bottom of the print? Because it'll be greater at the top if it's because your Z screw's leaning.
Yes, exactly. And that's yes, on the inner. Yes, that's exactly what's happening.
There you go. Yeah. Then yeah, you need to reprint that one side.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
Okay. You're not quite on camera, by the way.
Okay. It is very slightly. I know it's kind of
Down
hard.
a little. Down a
But
little.
if you look
There you
in there, yeah, the lighting is not right. It is slightly off. So the back of this is slightly to the back.
Okay. And it prints in the orientation that you're holding it.
Yes.
Then that means your lead screw isn't even up. Yep.
Yeah.
You got it. You know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, I know what's going on, and that's what I got to check on the Blue Bear. That's where my problem is. Absolutely.
And how do I know all this? Because my first Ender 3, when it got pulled off the table by the cat in the middle of the night, started having the same issue. And I had to completely disassemble the printer and reassemble it.
How do you have a cat with all those dogs? Don't the dogs harass the poor kitty?
No, because our 30-pound overweight cat will eat the dogs. In fact, she purposely goes and walks in front of them and growls at them.
Wow.
I am a cat. I will kick your butt, dog.
And we would have gotten rid of her by now, but she's teaching all of our dogs to not mess with cats. So
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. Especially where you're training in the dogs.
yeah, most of our dogs we do basic service dog training with them. My wife, in fact, if anybody's looking for a white fluffy Samoyed around Valentine's Day, Arctic Cross. We're hoping we've got puppies happening soon.
The Blue Bear and the Orange Bear and the Red Bear, and all I'm thinking of is freaking cereal.
Oh, see, I think of things like the Blue Moon Club in Police Academy.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Bear is an alternate term for a heavy-set, hairy, fluffy gay man.
See,
I was
here's
gonna
another
say
thing,
something about
Sergio.
that,
Max makes an OmniaDrop that's a direct bolt-on with the carriage and everything for Prusa/Bear printers.
Yes, there is.
I may try something like that.
Which,
And
which,
it
which extruder goes onto the bear? The bear extruder, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bondtech, yeah, for the bear, the upgrade. Yep.
Which will give you a lighter weight going to this and a shorter tool path.
It's SLS
Oh,
print.
tool path. It's a filament path. Why I like it. It's lighter weight. Can run it faster. Shorter path. Easier with TPUs and flexibles. Easier, period. It's just less back.
I like that you can manual feed it too, right? Because the Hemera you have to. That's
Yeah,
such a pain.
that is
That
nice.
was honestly the
Yeah.
final straw on one. I said I'm getting rid of the Hemeras, getting it because I had the freaking Hemera on that thing, and I went to do a filament change because a lot of times I'll do multiple colors in a print, and I just manually change it at the layer height.
Mhm.
And I went to do it, typed it in here, got over there, and I didn't get there in time to pull it out, and it just wound up around the gear. I said, nope, done.
And
Time to
see,
get
for
one
me, my first one, because my path on my first one is still not exactly right, unless I snip the filament and then follow it with the next color exactly at the same, as I basically holding it to its one path, one piece. Unless I do it that way, I can't swap filaments because if it'll like go down, it'll hit the filament path and then try to canter off a little bit, and it just
what I
won't
think
feed.
is? I think they made the tolerances on the Mara a little too tight. That it's to the point where you can't just like get filament in and out.
No. The issue is as I said, the first gen, and maybe even some of the second, have meshing issues. The tolerances aren't the problem, or otherwise the OmniDrop would have issues because, again, Max has stated his gears are very tightly meshed.
Yeah, the meshing is, but the tolerance of like the whole tool, the filament, like you call it tool path. I don't know why.
The filament path.
Filament path. Yeah.
I mean the top of the Hemera heat break, that it's like curled in. So when the filament hits it, if the filament's not dead on straight,
Yeah, it has to
it'll
bend.
actually shift out, which it can't do because of the way it's designed, and it just binds it up in there.
Or it doesn't even grab it.
Yeah.
That's really my issue. Is the gearing won't always grab it.
You can't manually feed. You can't can't even like release it and jam it in there.
Yeah, I like the
which is
the way
actually
the
a good
tight
question.
narrow is.
The top of the OmniaDrop where the filament does go in, how is that? Hang on, let me make this.
You mean has it or?
It's got like an idler where you pull the
So
idler.
it goes through the printed part there. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It goes through the printed part. There's like a hole. It's oversized. It's full. You put about
feed tube right in there. You don't have to have an attachment because there's no.
It's just a friction hold.
Yeah, it doesn't need to hold anything.
But if you want, there is an option of an idler where you have a couple up there.
Yeah, for like the pallet, how would you connect the pallet? Probably
It would be you would just friction hold the tube into it.
Friction.
Yeah, you can put or you can have it with the pneumatic coupling.
Yeah, okay.
You
can screw it in and.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I do have a pallet as well, so that is actually a good question. Thank you, Greg.
Of course.
But even with the pallet, it shouldn't be a problem because it never is going to back out of it.
Take care, Knack.
It's always pulling it in.
Yeah, you can't have the retraction or the slippage because it'll mess up the pings and the pongs on the pallet.
True. When you retract, if it backs out even a little
bit.
If the PTF tube moves.
Yeah, I got you.
Which I do still have some issues with because currently I'm literally velcroing the tube to the Hemera.
Yeah.
I'm still getting used to that.
We're all beating on Hemeras, and everyone here.
I love my Hemeras. I
love that better.
I want to try something new.
I just like it better.
And if I like the OmniaDrop better, I'll be probably either putting my Hemeras on a shelf or selling them.
Yeah.
Do you have a plan of doing titanium heat breaks in the future?
Lots of plans.
Yeah, there are already samples of it. I have already samples here, which I'm currently testing. But I need always a bit of time to make sure that everything works with all the filaments and stuff like that. So I don't want to release something or make promises too early and saying, "Oh yeah, there will be a titanium heat break."
But you notice I said in the future, and I said plan, actually.
Oh,
Perfect.
if you want
So the
someone,
there is.
yes.
It looks very good. It looks
Good.
currently very good that there is going to be a titanium.
And I notice you're on the storefront. You're showing two different steppers.
testing.
Yeah. They're two steppers because the 3mm version needs a bit more torque.
2.85. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Makes sense now.
That's so yeah. So there is still a 2.85 version out there.
Have you sold the 2.85 version?
Yeah, some, not a lot, very few. Less than 5% of the sales are even less than that. Let's say 1 to 2% is 3mm. But when I started printing in 2014, I used 3mm, so I still have some affinity for people using 3mm, and that's this kind of rip-wrap kind of still scene. And
Cool nostalgia.
yeah, it's a bit nostalgia, and yeah, it's an investment maybe I shouldn't have done it, just focus on 1.75, but some
There's
sense
really
of quality,
change in cost for you. I mean, other than, well, the heat break.
Well, heat break, the drive gears, the dual drive gears are different, so you have to make new dual drive gears.
Oh, that's true.
And then you have to get like the stepper motors, which are bigger, which you also have to obviously then
Your heat
make
break.
a few, and then the heat break. Yeah. So it's kind of
basically the whole filament path needs to be redone.
Yeah, basically everything in the filament path. Yeah. And also because of the 3mm, the drive gears are a bit smaller, so they can transfer more torque, but they need less grip than, for instance, the 1.75. 1.75 has bigger gears, so it more attaches to the filament or more grabs the filament, you know. Yeah. Exactly. But I'm keen. I think that the Hemaras are. I think there is going to be a new version of the Hemera coming out. Otherwise, I cannot imagine why there are no Hemaras in stock.
No, there's no Hemeras in stock because they've been having a hard time keeping up with their supply chains. Having a hard time keeping up, specifically because they have a custom gear package.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Because
it's their claim.
That is exactly what they told me when I asked them if I could order a couple gear packages in advance.
Oh, okay.
I know for a while it was the motors as well.
Yeah,
because the motors are proprietary.
I do know last year about was it June, July, they were unable to get any of the motors because the plant that the people they ordered their motors from were shut down because of COVID.
Well,
their
motors are
LDO. From LDO, and LDO still got like really fast back and show pictures of them selling motors to Zaribo or Caribou, what's it called now, and Prusa, huge packages which were sent to Prusa. So I don't get why they don't get those ones and also from LDO. I'm very confused about the Hemera, to be honest. Like, I think there is a newer version coming out. It feels like
I bet you're right.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean,
with all the gearing issues.
If I was running a company, I'd always be looking at getting a new version out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's how they make money. Again,
well, except for I'd be trying to make sure the new version, like with some of the products I've seen in 3D printing, which has been nice, a new version comes out and you can normally order a quote upgrade package if you have the original.
Yeah, but it's good. I like that there's innovation, you know. Yes. I don't know, see it as if they drop the support for the older version, that's something I'm not a huge fan of, and that's a bit.
Has E3D done that in the past?
No, no, they've never done. They never. Did they drop?
They're still selling.
No, they still sell most of the stuff. They still sell the Arrow.
Yeah,
Arrow. The
Arrow's a good extruder. What's the print? There's a company that puts that on still. Lulzbot, right?
Lulzbot,
they still,
yeah.
Yeah, the Arrow wasn't bad. I
like it, except for
the Arrow was the first real E3D product I looked at and said, I want that.
Yeah. Well, I had the Arrow, and
it's all flash.
There was the Arrow, then there was the Titan Arrow, which I mean, that's the one that They claimed it was supposed to be better for flex, but I still had problems, especially with really soft. And that was the whole reason I got one. And I was really disappointed when they're like, "Oh yeah, now we can really do flex." I was skeptical when Hemera came out, but then I saw the videos where they were doing the Ninja Flex, so I knew it was the real thing.
Mm. Well, I put 83A through this the other
Yeah.
day. It didn't even
Hmm.
didn't even hesitate. It printed beautifully. Where
I
the hell
see
is it?
68 with that.
Yeah, 60. I think it's about as low as it goes, right?
So I
No,
see you
uh,
have
you
a BL Touch option. Do you have
Yeah.
do you have a Easy Able V2 Pro option?
Yeah, I do have a easy able. It's basically just a small peg on the side of the extruder main body where there's like a threaded insert in there. That's basically the attachment for all the probes. So you
Okay,
theory
cool.
design, but I have an easy able version for the 18 millimeters. Yeah.
A big
And
one.
but the 12, there's 18 millimeters and 12, right? And then
Yes.
Yeah, 12's pretty rare though. Not a lot of people use that one.
I think I'm running the 12.
You're running 12. Yeah, that's no issue. I don't have a 12 yet, but that takes like about half an hour to
Yeah,
design.
easy to model.
Okay.
It's
Yeah, it's just make the hole smaller.
But the best auto leveling is no auto leveling.
Yep. I'll agree with that.
I'm sorry. I love auto leveling, especially on when you're working with a 400 by 400 build plate.
Mm.
Hey, look behind you. All manual. MI6 plate.
Perfect. All manual. And mine are both 300s, and I have zero issues. I never
Well,
had a problem with it.
and that 400 by 400 is a bed slinger on top of it.
Yeah.
You got other issues.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry about a level bed.
I love auto leveling.
You know, I got the Super Pinda on the Mini, and even that thing, I mean, it's let's see, it's sitting idle right now. But even that, I've still started to notice when the weather changes and my basement cools. It's good, but it's still off by 0.1. I'm like, man, I bought this thing, spent $30 on it, and I thought that was supposed to take care of the issue, but it's like you still have to adjust it, you know.
And this is why I want to eventually get all of my printers into a temperature controlled enclosure.
Yeah, well, I guess, but even humidity, temperature, you'd have to control everything because I think those other things can also.
Considering I want to print nylon, I'm going to have to do that anyways.
Yeah, well, mine's in an enclosure, but it's not. You know, it's just an enclosure. There's nothing to control in there.
Okay.
Yeah, but it still heats up. Like I measured in my enclosure, like 50 by 50 centimeters, is it? And after like, what was it? An hour, it reaches like 43, 44 degrees Celsius. It stays quite stable then afterwards because then you have this equilibrium, you know.
Okay, we need to see the shirt. David Wilson says he likes it.
The shirt. Yeah, it's a gift from Dave Wilson.
Ah. Nice.
I can 3D print that. I like that. That is good. Nice job, Dave.
Thanks, Dave, by the way.
I'm going to have to send you a llama shirt now just to, you know. Just cuz.
So, Dave, are you going to be the U.S. distributor for OmniDrop? No.
Dave would if he could.
Dave would be an
ideal. More of a fanboy than I am.
Yeah.
I think he's got what? How many has he got now? Like 4 of them or 5 of them?
He has 8, I think.
He's got 8?
Wow.
8. Yeah. He got rid of all his Samaras. He did the same thing I did. He started playing with the OmniDrop when, yeah, this is nice. And then the more you use it, the more you're like, wow, this is so much better.
And apparently he has 9.
9.
Okay.
That's a lot of OmniaDrop.
He's an OmniaDrop fanboy for sure. I agree with him. I mean, there's just the only downside for me is the noise, and that can be taken care of within reason.
Is it just the fans or the motor? Fans, yeah.
Not including shipping.
Not only are they these little ones, but they're like really good quality, but they're high output ones, so they're really loud.
So that is over $1,800 USD in OmniaDrop hot ends, not including shipping.
Well, that paid your mortgage for a week, right?
Mine or
no,
Max's?
Max's. Rent, mortgage, whatever he is.
Yeah, but that's not profit. I wish that was profit.
Yeah. Probably a lot of costs going into that.
Like I said, for a week.
That is
No,
4.5 months of my mortgage.
That's a lot. Yeah, you don't have a house. You've got a chicken coop that you're living in.
At the moment, yes, but as soon as it's paid off and I get my credit back, I can rip this place down and build a new one.
You
definitely have the land to do it.
Another 25 years on that 30-year mortgage, do you?
No, I've got like 3 years left on my
that's not bad.
10-year mortgage.
That's really good, actually. That's good. People don't realize the best thing to do in the world. I used to do mortgages back in the day. The best thing to do is get a 30-year mortgage and pay it off in 20. That is your cheapest end value, comparison.
So, Llama, since you've done mortgages in the past, this will make sense to you. We had to buy the house using a construction loan. That's how bad it is.
Right.
Could not get a traditional loan.
Construction loan varies state to state because a construction loan here, you couldn't have done because you would have had to have finished everything by now.
Certificate of
no. We converted the construction loan out for a standard conventional loan after a year.
Okay. I was going to say, most construction loans here are mid-low interest rates. They're not really low, but they're lower.
Oh, personal loans. Sorry, my wife's behind me correcting me. She used to work in the same field.
Oh, you guys got a personal loan?
Yep.
So
yeah, it's a personal loan.
Ridiculously high interest rate for the first year.
No, our interest rate has been really low.
Really?
And it's locked. It's not variable.
Generally higher than mortgage loans.
Yeah, usually they're like 8 to 10%, right? Something
we're at 3.4%.
That's a mortgage.
Yeah.
You don't get personal loans at 3%. You get a mortgage.
We did. You keep in mind, my house is worth, my whole property is worth less than than our van.
Well, that's why usually personal loans are more because you have no.
Well, it might be a secured personal loan.
Mortgages have the house as a backing, so if you fail, they take care of it.
Llama, the house is worth $2,000 on our
on Zillow.
No, the property's worth quite a bit. The house on the appraisal is only worth $2,000 to $3,000.
Yeah. See, it's just like my brother's house. He's actually leaving it somewhat. He's got to play games, but my brother has a kind of ratty house that we've been talking about rebuilding, but he doesn't have enough money. But his property where he is in Rhode Island is a high desirable kind of, not waterfront, but like here it's close to the water and blah, blah, blah. His property is devalued because the house is on it.
Oh, jeez.
Because it's the last in his area. That's 3 building lots. He's got one house on 3 building lots. But to build on it, the house is dead center. They have to tear the house down to convert it to 3 building lots. Yeah. So the house actually devalues the property.
Yep.
Which is good because it lowers his taxes.
Yep.
But yeah, the house, he's like, I mean, it's not, the house isn't terrible. It's got problems, but it's old. It was built in the 40s or 50s and poorly built. It was one of those, the guy worked in construction and he'd bring stuff home this week, and build an addition and then build another one. But he didn't have enough lumber that week, so it only got half done right. Or, he did like 3-foot spans in some areas of the studs and doubled up the plywood because that's what he had that day. So the construction is very
sounds like a disaster waiting to happen.
Oh, it is a disaster. He keeps calling me over to repair stuff that's falling apart. When he first,
this is why I have no codes here to worry about, or no permits. I don't have to get permits to do anything.
The pool higher than the house.
The
water came out.
David Wilson is wondering
the sliders. So he had a trench that's a drain in front of the sliders to keep the water from the pool going into the house.
Are you going to have a new holiday edition soon?
Yeah, we were talking about.
What's the next holiday?
The next holiday is like this jokish idea I had for Valentine's Day. Make like a white red version and then on the manual wheel, there's going to be a heart, and the person that gives it to the other person gets their name written on it, so they will never forget that person while they're printing. You know,
I think that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, it is.
something like also with a caption, "It turns me on when you print" or something.
Well, if you do it on the idler knob that we can use to feed it with, you should just simply put in a circle, a limited edition one that says "You spin me right round."
It's just a threaded cap
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
that he prints whatever logo on. I think it's
Wasn't that a music video?
Yes. Well, it's actually a song before.
Our song,
yes.
yeah. Dead or Alive.
Yes.
Didn't the
Had to look
video
that up.
come out with the song? Wasn't that back in the days?
Yeah, I
where-
think it was British band. Yeah,
Isn't that back in the
1985
days when MTV actually did
Yep.
videos?
was music TV. Yeah,
I remember MTV when it first came out.
yeah.
I'm
Beavis and
old.
Butthead. Remember that?
I was an actual adult already.
A little later, I think. Beavis and Butthead.
When MTV
1984.
came out.
84. Okay.
I was out of high school already. Put it that way. Yep.
Well,
And I never really watched it because it was all kind of bebop.
Which
and
is
crap
3 years
music.
after MTV came out. So yeah, that lines up.
Dire Straits did the MTV song. That's what
Yeah,
said
I remember that one.
MTV.
And if anybody actually looks at the lyrics of that song, it would have not been the song they chose today.
Oh, for sure.
Because there are lyrics that
politically
outright
correct.
slam sexuality.
Yep.
well, Bloodhound Gang is also during that time, right?
Bloodhound Gang? I
Yeah,
think they were after that.
they were after that. Weren't they like early 2000s? Like,
MTV was 1981.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah. The start of
MTV
it.
was 83 or 84, wasn't it?
It didn't really get popular for a few years. It was like
Yeah,
85, 86, I think, when it was kind of mainstream. At least from what I remember, but I was a kid.
And Bloodhound Gangs, the group formed in 1988. And they were originally called Bang Chamber 8.
Okay, then. Not even a clue who you're talking about.
Bloodhound Gang?
Yeah.
You don't know who Bloodhound? Yeah, I'm sure you do. You just don't recognize it. And
You gotta remember, I'm old.
I'm not comfortable even saying the lyrics to you.
You're just gonna be banned.
Yeah. I probably haven't heard it then, or don't care about it.
Oh, you definitely heard it. They were on the radio constantly during that
Really?
time. But
You're assuming Llama listens to the radio.
I actually used to back when it was relevant.
in the 50s.
I have Pandora running all the time. Like when I'm sitting here,
Unless he can mount an OmniDrop and use blue tape, he doesn't care.
pretty much. That pretty much covers it.
So Llama, have you noticed any slowdowns or anything with your M1 when it comes to things like Fusion 360 or whatever?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm really surprised. Let me rephrase that. One, Blender.
Blender has an issue?
Blender does not like the M1.
This is the Mac Mini?
Rooms. Yeah. You know how there's like rooms in Blender? Like you
Mm-hmm.
have the sculpting room and the editing room. It works just beautiful if you're sculpting. It's freaking awesome. The minute you got to go either into the editing or object room, you get the stupid spinning beach ball. For like
I don't use Blender, but I use Final Cut Pro all the time. That's the one I
Final
think that's
Cut Pro
native,
is
right?
native.
That's
Native
an Apple
M1,
product, so you don't need to worry about
Right.
that one.
Yep.
Really, the only thing that anyone would use that hasn't gone native, believe it or not, is Adobe. All the Adobe products are really the only big name thing that hasn't gone native.
Well, I
And
use Illustrator
Affinity
still.
has all gone native, and it's better.
Yeah. I still use like
that's a bit
CS
of a
stuff.
problem.
So I guess the question will be, how do I get that onto the new? I don't even know if the latest Mac OS supports that Adobe CS6 stuff. And I got to figure out how to get it copied over from my old Mac.
You just transfer it over.
Yeah.
So the only Adobe app right now that runs natively on an M1 is Lightroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use Lightroom too, but
they all
yeah,
run just fine under Rosetta, so it doesn't matter.
Under Rosetta 2, there are known issues with Acrobat Pro, Adobe Bridge, Lightroom Classic, and known issues with Photoshop.
yeah, I don't use
But
Photoshop.
they have a beta app of Photoshop that is native to the M1.
Yeah.
So they are working on it.
That's good.
I just can't believe Adobe of all companies didn't just like.
I can. Adobe kind of
Shifted to be mostly PC over the last few
No,
years.
Premiere and
you do realize they used to be a Mac only.
yeah. Oh, I
Yes.
know. Yeah, they were. Well, you know the whole
They
Flash.
didn't go
thing,
PC
right?
till they bought out Freehand.
But once Flash and the whole Steve Jobs thing, where he's like, "Hey, we got to get rid of Flash." That's what I think put the nail in the coffin for Adobe
that's
on
the other
Mac.
thing. You realize Flash is not Adobe. A Flash.
Macromedia, and Macromedia is owned by Adobe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's owned by Adobe though.
Yeah. Adobe bought out Macromedia because Macromedia was smoking them. And
Right, but they bought out Macromedia back in what, 2005?
Something
Something
like
like
that.
that.
Before that, even because I used to have Freehand and the hell was the other one?
It was purchased by Adobe. It was purchased by Adobe on December 3rd of 2005.
Yeah.
And 2005 is when did the Intel Macs first come out? Because
It's a little later than that, I think, wasn't it?
Right around 2000.
No risk.
5.
So Apple announced the transition from PowerPC to Intel in 2005.
Yeah.
So that is probably, so that actually lines up because I suspect Adobe probably converted everything to be Intel based. And that actually took them a little while because they had problems on the Intel Macs. And once that happened, well, Windows was a no-brainer, fairly simple. And now M1, we're looking at yet another processor change. And the Adobe products are a lot of programming.
Huge code base.
Adobe products are a lot of legacy programming, and that's the problem. Adobe keeps packing patches on patches on patches. You out, Max?
I have to go now.
Glad you
guys.
to get back in on the round 2.
So again, I'll say, and I know it's kind of annoying, but if you need another tester,
I'll see if I have a unit available. I'll send you one.
Awesome.
If I get a unit.
Oh no, I get it.
Cool. So have a nice day, guys, or have a nice weekend. Let's put it that way.
Great meeting you, Max. And thank you for the answer to the questions. And I now have your YouTube channel subscribed, which I will put back out there again for others.
Yeah, do that.
Sign up
Since you're already about it.
Cool. Well, have
a good day, Max. Thanks for stopping in.
Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Thanks, cheers.
Okay, so there's the website for it, people. And here is his YouTube channel.
Sweet.
No, not a search. Thank you. There you go.
I gotta wait a week now to freaking install it, but that's life.
Subscribed.
Because he sent me, I don't know if you guys realize, he sent me all 24 volt and I'm all 12 volt.
Yeah.
Hey, just send it over here. I'll maybe
we're
update
well,
it.
That's what he said. He's like, don't bother sending it back. Just raffle it off, give it to someone, whatever.
I'll pay for it. I'll pay for it, Lama.
I may kind of just hang on to it and convert one of my printers to 24
There you
volt,
go. Even better.
which I want to do. I just, honestly, the only thing that's stopping me is the heat beds. I can't afford a 24. I can't find an affordable 24 volt heat bed.
You should go AC. That's what I did.
Yeah,
I think AC
No.
is no, they're not.
They're cheaper.
Not more. Yeah, they're cheaper. You got to buy the SSR, but
See, that's just it. You got to buy the SSR. You got
$30.
buy the bed. You got to
For a very trusted and
Then
probably
I
overpowered
still have to
SSR,
convert
$30.
the rest of the printer over.
yeah.
And I don't know. I still have this like affinity to frickin' 120 volt heat beds. It
Just ground it. Just do good. I grounded mine on the bed and on the chassis on my hypercubes, and never had a problem.
Yeah, the Ender extender, I'm going to eventually go to AC because a bed that big, DC can't do it. It can't keep up.
Yeah, unless they zone it, and even then, it's not very good.
No, and then you end up with zones that are different temperatures by a couple degrees.
Right.
I've had people say, "Oh, you can put, I want to say MOSFET, not MOSFET, but the step down from 24 volt to 12 volt for the bed." But it's just one more point of
Don't do
failure.
that.
You mean like what Creality tried and started having tons of issues with?
It's just one more spot of no, let's not.
The only thing that you could do on the step down that I would trust are the fans.
I really wish more, because that's the one thing I do miss about the
and the
Duet.
LEDs.
Yeah, LEDs are fine. Low voltage or low current.
Low amperage.
Yep.
I don't have any LEDs, so that's not a problem.
I use LED. I use LEDs in my extrusions, so that way on camera I can see them, see what I'm printing.
I would love to. I just don't get it, so I haven't done it. I do wish that the one big thing I miss about the Duet board was it had the pin to convert all your fans to 5 volt, and I loved the 5 volt fans.
Yeah,
they were plenty of air.
Yeah,
that's the only thing Noctura I will say was good. This is a 5 volt Noctura. If you get the 5 volt 40-40-20, not the 40-40-10, it's more than enough to cool the hot end.
It's all about that CFM.
Yeah, but this is even quieter than the 12 volt, and it pushes more air. And the 5 volt parts fans.
Yeah.
So
I've had real good luck with those Sun-on apo-bearing ones.
The 5 volt ones are way quieter. They don't push as much air, but it's plenty.
Mm-hmm.
I sent you my address on Twitter.
Yeah, for what? Oh, for the cases?
Yep.
I don't have enough money right now.
No. It's going to be a couple weeks at minimum.
Yeah.
I get it.
Whatever. I can tell you right now, it's going to be about $10 to $15.
Okay.
That thing weighs, it's a freaking brick.
Well, go find out, because 10 to 15 I can do.
Yeah. And I'll give you the other one too. I have another little one, that's just a snap in for a regular, crap.
Cool.
One that's Firewire too. That's strictly in, it's not even a hub like that one is. That one's a Firewire 400, 800, and whatever the IDE style wired thing that they used to do. Does it all. This thing is just plain Firewire and USB. It'll take either or.
Which one did you?
It's a mini hub, I guess.
So you got the 2020 M1, the first edition of the M1 Mac Mini. Okay. Yep. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if I want to go, because I definitely want to do 32 gig. Can you? But I don't want to pay. I think they charge like an extra $1,000 for 32 gig.
RAM?
Huh? Yeah.
It won't do 32. It maxes at 16.
No, that's not right. What?
Yep.
Oh, well, I guess I'm not.
I can tell you right now, it don't need it. The hard drive.
Maybe not right now.
The hard drive. I thought I was going to have problems too. The hard drives, the RAM, and the chip are all one now.
Oh.
That's why you have to special order it, because I got the bigger. My brother's got the bigger hard drive and the bigger, maxed the RAM. The thing is going to virtual RAM when it spins it to the hard drive is no issue, because the hard drive is just as fast as the RAM is now.
That's insane.
So it doesn't matter. It only spins it to the hard drive when it needs to.
So I'm reading at 64 gig. That's the Intel version.
This thing, and the other thing, like streaming.
Yeah.
Right now, my RAM used to be like 80-90%. And what is it? I got to open up the thing because I don't let it run all the time. Menu bar stats. Right now, I'm using 13% of my CPU and less than 8% of my memory. Where before it used to be like 90 and 80.
So it's just swapping out to the disk, but the disk is so fast that you don't notice it?
Yeah, and it doesn't swap to the disk as much because the processors are so much more powerful and blah, blah, blah. Because don't forget, it's an 8-core processor. It's 4 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
There's 4 workhorse processors, and then there's 4, high speed, high power that it only uses when it needs to.
That's interesting.
I couldn't, because the minute I used to fire up Chrome, this thing would jump to like My CPU usage would jump to like 70, 80%, and my memory would jump to, 70, 80, 90%, just firing up Chrome or any Chromium-based browser. They all just were memory hogs. And I'm literally, right now, it's flashing between 16 and 15% CPU and 8% memory. And I'm streaming.
Yeah, it's just hard for me to wrap my head around that because I've got 32 gig on my iMac, I think.
Yeah, I had 32. This
really
had
enough.
32.
Yeah.
This switches
You're
does
old.
everything way faster than this ever did.
Mhm.
I mean, this thing was not slow for what it was. I had an SSD in it and, maxed out the RAM. And I mean, this, for what it was not a bad computer.
Mm-hmm.
But the big limiting thing this had was video.
Yeah.
Like, 1080, it would bog on once in a while.
Yep.
720.
Well, what about StreamYard? Have you tried? Because I know on both my 2015 MacBook and my 2014 iMac, I mean, the fan just kicks on. It's using 80% CPU. I can't even use it. That's why I went to PC for StreamYard.
Part of that is because
OBS.
StreamYard and OBS, StreamYard and OBS on certain systems do not use the graphics processor.
Yeah.
And that's the
right
problem.
Now, my fan is at 30%, and my processor and board temperature are both about 80 degrees.
Are you running OBS?
My CPU utilization dropped when I enabled hardware offload inside my browser.
Are you running OBS on your Mac Mini?
I couldn't on this one. I haven't tried it on this yet. I actually just downloaded it this morning. I haven't installed it or done it.
Yeah, let me know how that runs because I mean I always I'm running OBS right now, but like if I look at my PC right now, let me see here. If I open up Task Manager on my Mac, it would have been like 70 or 80%. It's 3% on my PC.
It shouldn't be a problem because OBS has a native for the M1.
Okay. Yeah, I'm curious what it does to your Mac.
Yeah, because Chrome has a native, OBS has a native.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Safari's native. The only thing that still pisses me off is you can't use, StreamYards is based on the Chromium platform, so you can't use Safari.
What about the SSD? Can you get a 1 terabyte?
You can.
Which, yeah, I mean, I have that now, and I've got
here's the downside of the M1
100 gig free,
and the hard drive and the RAM, and the CPU all being soldered together now on one board.
You can't upgrade it, and it's
ridiculously Apple priced to get any kind of upgrade.
And it's got that encryption where even if you could change it, your machine would no longer work.
Yeah, you can't. They're all soldered together. It's one chip. Yeah. Let me rephrase that. It's one chip set.
I know.
People don't realize when you look at it, it looks like one chip. It's not. The hard drive, the RAM, and the chips. Then there's 8 processor chips are all in a chip set. If you take that chip apart, there's little chips inside of it.
Right.
But it's one
I don't
chip.
mind that. I mean, I've gotten into my iMac 0 times in the 7 years that I've had, or whatever, going on 7 years. I have the 2014. It was the first 5K. I think I paid $5,000 for it. Back when I was doing some side consulting, so it wasn't a problem. But my MacBook laptops, I've upgraded those, but I also don't have anything newer than a 2015, which is the last time you could upgrade one.
Yeah. There's definitely disadvantages if you're one that wants to upgrade constantly or need to max it out. I was under the impression I wanted 32 gigs of RAM and a terabyte hard drive. And I'll tell you what, that's the other thing. Under the M1, my system now I have everything loaded on it. Mm-hmm. And I mean everything that I've ever had for applications. And my system, this hard drive right now, is 48 gigabytes with everything on it. Operating system, all my files, all my applications. The only thing I have off of it that this one had on it are, like the actual edited videos and stuff that I was saving. All that stuff's gone.
I mean, I've got 900 gigs on my iMac, and that's just programs. And I think about 200 of that, though, is the Final Cut Pro, like
Final
render
Cut Pro
folder.
everything. Because all of it, when it went to M1, it got rid of all the 32-bit processing.
Yeah.
You know, see, people don't realize is a lot of this stuff was dual whatever. So you literally basically had two programs. You had a 64-bit program and you had a 32-bit program, and it would run either one. It was universal.
Mm-hmm.
Where now you cannot run 32-bit on this thing. It just won't. Even under Rosetta, most of the 32-bit stuff will not run.
Well, I thought it would emulate it.
The wife, I have to take the wife to the mall, so you guys.
Oh, that sounds like
you poor man.
Nice.
I gotta end my project for today. Hey,
So you have to go. You have to go hold a purse.
I just gotta take her there. 2005.
Take care, Sergio.
I wish you did. Bye.
Yeah. I mean, I learned a long time ago, Mac or PC, I don't care which one. When I do when I work with Final Cut Pro, I don't save it on my hard drive. When I'm done with it, all that stuff gets torn off and put on a separate hard drive.
Oh yeah, same here. But I probably have about 10 times the video you do, I'm guessing. So
I have a lot of video. I have three 3 terabyte hard drives sitting here full of video.
I got a 20 terabyte NAS that's almost full.
Yeah.
So of video. But I used to do wedding videos and stuff, so that's why I'm saying that.
But again, I don't save anything on the operating system's hard drive ever.
Yeah.
For any
but then you
length
gotta
of
have
time.
you gotta have all your attached storage, and what is it? I know they have Thunderbolt 4 or USB 4, Thunderbolt 3, but those things are ridiculously overpriced. Are you just using USB 3?
Here's the thing. You should probably wait, because I have a feeling in a couple of months there's going to be the Mac Mini Pro.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to come out. They haven't come out with
that.
the Pro version of the Mac Mini, and they kind of hinted this is the one I have now. Is their very basicest unit.
The first one.
The two basic laptops. Their high-end laptop hasn't been replaced yet.
Right.
The Mac Mini Pro, because they came out 2 years ago with the Mac Mini Pro, which is the black case, not the silver case. Starts as an i7, because you can still buy the Mac Mini Pro. It's a 12-core i7.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. Take out a mortgage.
Starts at $3,000 or something. It's amazing.
No, I think they're more than that. I think it's $5,000. But yeah, it's ridiculous.
The Mini isn't, not the Pro.
Oh, the Mini, yeah.
The Mac Pro is different from the Mini Pro.
Yeah, that's too confusing.
And I think you'll find March, April,
I don't even want. That's the thing.
Pro
I mean,
will come out, and the Mini Pro will come out along with the Pro Book. And
I'm not doing 4K
with more everything on it.
I don't want to spend another $5,000 on a Mac though. So I'm trying to, I want to.
You need to.
Yeah, I don't
think this thing was going to be able to do the stuff it did. I still have this sitting here because I was I'm probably going to use it to play around with, but I'm still going to be going back to my old one to do most of my stuff because I have yet to have to turn that old one back on. I expect all kinds of errors and problems, and nothing has gone wrong. Everything is super fast. It loads like ridiculous. The storage is plenty because all your apps are smaller now. Like Final Cut Pro, I think it was 110 gigabytes or something just for the app. It's now 7.
What?
Yeah,
wow.
It's ridiculous, dude.
That's crazy.
Because they got rid of all the fluff for all the old crap. If you're native, you no longer, what the hell is it? It is 3.6 gigabytes on my hard drive. Final Cut Pro, the app, just the app. It used to be 50 or 60 or I don't know. Look on yours, see how big it is, because you're running a Mac right now, aren't you?
Well, I'm on a PC right now because I'm running OBS. Yeah, my big thing, I couldn't run OBS on it, right?
Yeah, I couldn't run OBS. It would run on the Mac. It would
just be you'd hear a jet engine with the fans and all that. It's
and it just overtaxed the crap out of it.
Yeah, it did.
It's not really Mac native, but
so go into OBS settings. There's a setting for hardware offload. Make sure you enable it, and it'll start instead of using the CPU for a lot of it, it'll use your graphics adapter.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if the one in the Mac.
The Mac graphics adapter is the PCU.
It's a 2015 MacBook Pro. It's got probably a G. Who knows?
Yeah.
So where's that at on your?
Well, on a MacBook, on a 2015 MacBook Pro, OBS runs at only 20% CPU utilization.
That's weird. Because every time I fired up OBS, it just.
Oh, you know what? I should add that's with the Blackmagic video.
Yes,
running.
that makes a difference.
That's what was doing it. And it was OBS and the Blackmagic adapter, which that thing was not only that, but the adapter got like I could fry bacon on it. You know, it was so hot.
Oh, so you should use it to heat your print bed.
Yeah, I could.
So one thing I don't like about the two new M1 Max is the lap books, laptops, is neither one of them have a fan in them at all. There is no fan in them.
That's
Really?
weird.
Because the M1 runs cooler.
I wouldn't try. I'm
Yeah, but I still don't trust it enough to not like
exactly
right now with my Mac Mini in this room at 68 degrees in this room. This thing has the fan running at 30% and it's running at 85 degrees right now. You put it in a laptop without a fan, you know, that thing's going to be pushing 110, 120 degrees. Because it's literally the same exact processor in all three of them.
So you're just running on the external drives. You're running USB 3s, and that's fast enough.
I'm actually using USB 2s. I don't have any.
Gosh, I could not do that. That's like what, 30 megabytes? I don't even think it's that much, is it?
Yeah.
USB 2. Yeah.
The thing is everything is so compact now. I haven't had to use any of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I transfer a couple files back and forth. I pulled a couple of, you know, like my logos and stuff. Yeah, it wasn't fast, but it never was before because that's what I had.
You're just storing your files and videos and pictures, things like that on the.
When I'm making it, it stays on this drive.
Yeah.
While I'm working on it. When I'm done, it gets ripped off and thrown on the storage. I have two storage drives. I have my backup, which you click the backup and the Mac backs up your Mac.
Yeah, and I love that.
I literally call it drag and drop, where if I'm working on something, but I know it's going to be a while, I will drag it onto it, leave it there, tear it off my main hard drive until I can go back to it. Then I bring it back. That is slow. It's a USB 2 crappy drive, but it's just there for dragging and dropping files. And like 3 or 4 times a year, I go through it and I just delete everything off of it too, because it's all backed up on the actual backup drive. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Which I'm actually got my brother. It's stupid because my brothers give me a little bit of play money every month. I use my play money to order a external SSD, just another 250 gig for my backup drive. And one of my brothers said, "Oh, by the way, we ordered you a freaking SSD hard drive, you know, external, because we know it's kind of a, you know, it's only they got me the 512. They didn't get the 256, but they weren't going to do the terabyte because that adds almost $1,000 to the thing. And pardon my French, that's just too much money.
I don't even. Yeah, that's. I'm looking at them right now, and I don't even see the 1 terabyte. Maybe you got to customize it.
You can get it. Yeah, you got to hit the customize because it's stock unit is 8 gigabytes of RAM.
Oh, yep. No, it's only $200 extra for 1 terabyte.
No,
400 for the 2 terabyte.
512. It's 256, 512, and then 1 terabyte.
Yep.
And it's $200 to go because they did the 16 gigabytes RAM over the 8, which is $200, and then it's another $200 to go from the 256 to the 512.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Wow. So you're paying almost double for the RAM that I could buy and just slap in my computer right now.
I know.
This thing was $1,000.
Yeah.
It was $1,000.
Well, it looks like for 1,300, I could get the 1 terabyte, which that's not bad. I'd do that.
But if you're going to do that, again, for you, because there's going to be other downsides. There's only the 2 Thunderbolt and 2 USB 3. That's all this thing has for connectivity. That is it.
Yeah, but I have a hub. I have a USB hub.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm doing. I use my USB. I do have a USB 3 hub, even though everything plugged into it is USB.
I use my NAS as a workspace for it because it's I have gigabit connection, so it's like 120 megabytes per second, not bits but megabytes. So it's plenty fast enough for most editing.
I think you will find there'll be a new model of this coming out in April. Like they'll have a
in
Mac
April,
Pro in the black case. It'll have more ports.
Yep.
It'll probably just have more ports and a faster Ethernet. Because the other thing is they don't. There's no gigabit Ethernet on it either. It's T10 or whatever the step down from that is.
Really?
Yeah.
There's no gigabit? Oh.
No.
Yeah, that's a showstopper there. I didn't realize that. No,
Which
it
I
says
think
gigabit Ethernet.
Is it gigabit? I don't know. It's not 10 gigabit or whatever. It's
No,
a step
10
down
gig.
from
I
the old
don't
one.
have that. So
It's a step down from the old one. If you buy the current still available iMac with L in it, has a faster Ethernet than this.
I gotcha. So yeah, I'd probably want to wait for the 10 gig, even though I don't have it. At least in the future, I could upgrade easily.
Which there is one part you can replace because it's a module on the board.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, that's cool.
I have a feeling because if you go watch some of the openings, because if you ever watch like the old Mac Mini openings, it's like, you see them open the bottom and you see the hard drive and it's all packed in there in the case. And then you see the new ones, the people opening this thing. It's like a third of the freaking cases here. It's all wide open space in there. It's like they could have made the Mac Mini even minier. Like literally, they could, if they had gone to an external power supply, that Mac Mini could fit in this easily.
I think is that a hard drive enclosure? I think I have that same one. Yeah.
It's a FireWire.
Yep, I've got that one.
That's actually why I brought it out, because for some reason Zolan wants FireWire.
That's the Otherworld computing one, right? It looks familiar. OWC?
I don't know. It may actually be. I used to buy a bunch of stuff.
It looks like a Lacey.
Yeah. Oh, it might be a Lacey.
Oh no, this is a cheap piece of crap.
Oh, it's not. Oh yeah, no, he just thumped it. It does not sound like a Lacey. Because the Lacey cases are actually designed by VW, aka Porsche.
Yeah, that's what this is. That's the one I wanted to send you.
Yep. Now we're using past tense.
But this thing's like a brick.
Those are like the enclosures, right?
Well, see what I'm going to pop it open and I'm going to mount in a LTE modem with a Pi 4 and a couple other things. And then I can put that up on a tower and the casing will act as part of my heatsink.
It's a FireWire hub.
Yep.
Nice. Those are a pretty penny.
Oh, yes.
And you know what I don't have? I don't have the power supply for it anymore. I'm sure you can get yourself a power supply.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about it. I'm probably not even going to use the power supply that's in it. At least not for that. Not for what I'm thinking.
I use this for years. I love this Fire. I kind of wish they could have made FireWire faster than it is. I mean, it was fast in its day. Then USB 3 smoked it. This is the same thing. That's FireWire. I bought FireWire. The thing I used to like about it is the FireWire Max back in the day. If you held the T key when you started it, it would turn your Mac into a hard drive just by holding the T key. So if you had to like transfer stuff from one Mac to another, if you just plugged them in USB or FireWire, held the T key, boom, up came a hard drive. Instant transfer of your files. Can't do it no more because there's no more FireWire.
Oh, there's lots of FireWire still. You just don't see it because you don't do music.
You know, it's funny if you go into like the Mac control panels and the Mac whatever. We just lost Greg. The Mac info about this computer. They still have like SCSI ports and everything listed. Like SCSI ports, none.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's 12 o'clock. I gotta feed Mom.
Oh, yep, you do. Okay, and we've been here for almost 2 hours now.
Yeah, well,
Or
at least
you
we
have.
this time. It so pissed me off that freaking me and Max did that whole stream and it never went live. Oh boy. Anyways.
All right. Take care.
Had to return on the sea.
And thank you for letting me join and ask Max a bunch of questions.
Yeah. I like LaCie's cases. I never bought them with their hard drives. I always bought their case and put my own damn hard drive in them.
Apparently people are... Viking says it pays to check chat.
Yeah, I was going to say I haven't really been paying... I never pay attention to chat that much. I glance at it now and again.
Yeah, I always have it up in a pop-up window.
I have it in a pop-up window too.
Even when I'm on other people's streams, because I know people like you get tunnel vision.
Yeah, I do.
I try to help out with that some.
That's the perfect way to say it. I get tunnel vision when it comes to the chat.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm killing it. It's been fun. It's been real. Have a great day, people. Have a beautiful afternoon. Go out and do something. It's a whole 38 degrees out. It's above freezing. Might have to actually go outside. Anyways, bye.